Like, I'll be like, hey, I don't know the answer to this. I'm gonna transfer you. And they're like, no, 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 don't do that. And I'm like, bro,
No, you're
what?
not.
Like, what do you think I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna help you.
You know, did you ever think about just like, you know, giving the phone number to like one of your like buddies and then just like call you during work, you know, on the work phone?
Yeah, you guys want to do that? That'd be great.
See, then you don't then you don't have to, you know, answer any other stupid phone calls.
Yeah, well, I try not to answer phone. I'm not customer service. It's like, but I'm expected to still like answer the phone.
Just lie. So I can't help you. You can just transfer them somewhere else.
Yeah, but if they have a problem with something specifically I deal with, then they're just gonna transfer me right back and be like, "What the fuck did you just transfer them to me for?"
If they give you an attitude, you just like hang up. So try again.
Okay, I'll give you, actually, there's a good case today. It was really funny. So I had to call, about, we had some like person's insurance that was getting canceled, and we wanted to figure out if it was like reinstated or not.
Oh shit.
Because
I got it working. Let's go.
nice.
Let's go.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
sorry.
They-
Okay, so what we're talking about, bank stuff, work.
Kinda. Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about
So
work's awesome work day.
yeah, awesome work day. So they were we had to call about seeing if the policy was reinstated, because otherwise, if it's not reinstated, they don't have insurance for their home, and we are not going to like pay for their home if they don't have insurance, you know. So we had to call Allstate. And usually we have like a pretty set setup for like what like they'll ask. It's like, oh, like we're Allstate, like how can we help you? I'm like, oh, like, hey, we just want to make sure like what's happening with this policy. Usually it's just reinstated if it's going to be canceled. And it's like, oh, there's like a policy number, there's like the address of the place, and then there's like the person, right? And I don't know why, but some places just love to just be like, yeah, we just can't give you that information if you're not the customer. But the problem is that we're the mortgagee on the insurance, so we have full access, in theory full access, to all of the customer's information regarding it, because we're paying for it. And they were like, hey, like, I called the fucking Allstate today, and they're like, hey, can you give me this information? And I'm like, yeah, sure. It's like, I work at this bank, here is the policy number, here's the address, here's the person's name. And they're like, can you give me the full name of the bank? And I'm like, we're just called the Bank of, I'm not gonna say what it is.
Yeah,
Bank of
I wouldn't
blank.
say it.
Bank of
The
Bank.
bank.
Bank of the
Yeah,
bank.
bang.
And they're like, no, we need the full name. And I was like, give me 1 second. And I turned to the person behind me, and I'm like, do we have a full name for this bank? Like, I've never been asked this before. And then they're just like, let me just take the call. I'm like, oh, thank God. I don't have to deal with it anymore. And they got like really angry on the phone, and they were just like, because we're all the Allstate people were like, yeah, we just can't give you that information. We need the customer's approval for it. And then she was just like, yeah, do you want me to put you on hold and call the customer? It'll take 10 seconds to get their permission. And then she was like, well, no, actually what we need to do is that the customer would need to call. And then as soon as she said that, she just hung up. She was like, I'm not dealing with them. Their policy can get canceled. I don't care. So that guy no longer has insurance with us, apparently. It's because Allstate is fucked. So if you want any tips, don't get insurance with Allstate.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate that.
That was the point of the story. Don't get insurance with Allstate. They will fuck you over. I had to call 3 different numbers, by the way, in order to get to where I needed to go. And then they still gave me the wrong information.
Damn. Should have told him to kick rock.
I wish I could. There are times on the phone where I'd love to like talk smack to people, but I can't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's like the only reason she was able to is because it was
Patience.
like insurance. Like if it was like an actual customer, like we can't do that.
Yeah. Unfortunately for me, I don't got that type of insurance. So.
Yeah, well, I can't say I really enjoy working, but I like getting work done.
Oh.
I hate calling on
gonna
the
give them
phones though.
attitude.
Shit's ass.
I'm giving them attitude back.
Yeah, well,
So,
you can't do that. I wish I could,
yeah,
but you can't.
yeah, I've done it. I've gotten away with it.
Yeah, you would not get away with it. Where I
I've
work,
done
it's
it.
kind of like a like I'm gonna say it's like a like I'm not gonna say it's like high class, but the people there
People there.
are of an older generation that
Oh,
demand respect. That's as much as I'll put it.
oh, no, I know what you mean. No, I get
Like
you.
that, it's like you really need like the again like the happy-go-lucky like, hello, this is the Bank of Bank. How may I help you?
At the bank, yeah.
Whenever I fucking transfer people to other calls, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna transfer you to these other like calls, and I'm like, I have to be like, oh, like, thanks for allowing me to transfer you, because people will just not like it if you just transfer them without.
All right, I'm gonna deafen for a second just so I don't bother these guys. But I'm about 90% sure that we got this working. How far YouTube is behind compared to Twitch in terms of where the stream is, I have no idea. Because Restream seems to be registering this like 3 minutes behind, which is very concerning. So can I just view the stream on YouTube? Because I know on my end it's going to be faster because, you know, I live closest to me. But I just want to make sure that the YouTube guys aren't like 10 years behind. Which it doesn't look like they are. But that's good. I don't exactly understand how this whole restream thing works, but we're figuring it out. It looks like currently we are both live on YouTube and Twitch, so let's just get rolling onto the Coconut Mall time trials. Yes, indeed, Jungle. Welcome to the stream, by the way. That at least helps me confirm that it is working on YouTube, since this is my first time streaming on YouTube. We are working on getting the fun going for the new Switch, along with the new Mario Kart game. Because I am very broke and can't afford it, because I was not expecting it to come out in June. I was gonna save up so I could get it in like November. Was my goal. So, you know, doesn't hurt to try. I missed the trick? I'm so bad. That's a good low. And I hit the car. Oh, I'm so smart. Oh man, did the stream freeze? Yeah, this whole string to both platforms thing is kind of throwing me off. I just have no idea how it works. But I'm just gonna say we're good and continue. Hope for the best. for now, strats. Is Juice, are you still here? Is everything working as it's supposed to? Do-do-do-do-do. Oh snap. I jumped over the boost panel. I am so good at this game. Whoa, what a low. And then I completely blew it. But we had a good run there going for a second. Coconut Mall's King Time is going to be very difficult. This is just one of those tracks that I am not very good at. Hey, Coolcade, thank you so much for the good luck. I appreciate that very much. So how are you doing today? Hopefully, or well tonight I guess, it's pretty late now, but I started a bit on the later side. Alright. That's good. Did you get any improvements to, I think last time you were here we discussed Rainbow Road, I believe? You were going for a 228, I think. Do you get that? Ah, okay, yeah, fair enough. Any other fun things on the agenda? Track hopping a lot right now because of attention spam. That's fair. I would do the same thing if I wasn't purely dedicated to these king times. Like, I usually just sit down and play the track until I get the king time, and then I move on to the next one. Because I should maybe save some of these harder ones that I know I'm going to struggle with for later. That way I can just boost up the number of how many king times I have. But, yeah, because I'm expecting this to be stuck on Coconut Mall for like a week. Because I'm so awful at this track, and the king time is a sub 2, which is just absurd to me. Okay, 40.2. Hold up. Ah. Trying to get more of the king times. Some of the tracks suck, and I have no will to play. Yeah, that's fair. Again, you were on the grind for quite a bit, from what I saw. So a break is probably in order. How do I do that? Did I really just hit the wall there? I might need to watch a guide on this track. I've been playing some Mushroom Gorge because I got a PB that was cope world record pace until lap 3 cavern. But like none of the run was really good. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Isn't world record now for Gorge like 137? Something crazy like that? People are going crazy on these shooting star strategies. Yeah, 137.0, that's crazy. Because I went back to Mushroom Gorge and because I was trying to show one of my friends how to do like the hopless full gap. Because I used to be really consistent at it in like 2022. And so I went back just to see what I could do because I was only like 30 milliseconds off the legend time or something. And then in like, I don't know, 20 minutes, I ended up getting a 143.517 or something like that. So I'm like so close to the legend time there. But it means nothing now because of these new outside drift strats that can apparently just crush my time by 6 seconds. And even the Flame Runner world record was like a 140. So I don't know where I was losing all my time at. Before shooting star was a 145. Because yeah, like my MG time is hella strong for what it is. For a Flame Runner time, it's pretty strong. But it's just overshadowed nowadays. But yeah, I can hella respect the shooting star strat grind. I know I can't do it because I suck at outside drift. And you have to do some crazy pop manipulation and all that stuff. Whoa, yo, what's good, Root? It's been a good bit since you've been around. You believe it? I'm a YouTube streamer now. Not as bad as you would think. Yeah, I don't know. It's still not something that I'm willing to put time into to learn. I have too many other goals with this game. And now there's apparently not much time left to get something going in this game because there's a new game on the horizon. Granted that I'll never afford, but... Yeah, Juice taught me how to set it up, and I thought, hey, why not? I've been uploading on YouTube a lot recently, so getting some, exposure on both platforms will be very helpful. But yeah, because again, I don't think the strats would be hard to learn. It would just take too much time to dedicate to learning it. If that makes sense. Yeah, today is more of a test stream route, just making sure that both run properly and function, which it looks like they do. So now that I know it works, after tonight's stream, I'm gonna work on getting everything set up, like YouTube alerts and both functioning chats, stuff like that. I do plan to update it. Because I didn't want to do all of that and then find out it doesn't work, you know? So now that I know it does, we're gonna spend tomorrow working on it. But yeah, I am not good at Coconut Mall. Holy crap, I can't get anything going. Oh, great. A large delay on YouTube isn't ideal. I'll have to look into that, figure out what's causing that. A minute? Oh my god. Okay, yeah, I'll have to work on fixing that. Cause yeah, it shouldn't be that large. The hell? That's pause again, unpause, because YouTube, I know you can look back the stream while it's still on. Legs did not see here. Yeah, because I just don't know anything about YouTube streaming. Like, this is my first time ever doing it, so if it's delayed by that bad, then that's a problem. Like, a big problem. My internet. Now I have to automatically assume that it's a problem on my end. Because very rarely is it an issue on somebody else's end. It's always the streamer, usually, when issues like that occur. Because, yeah, even on my straight up end, it's like 20 seconds behind, which is pretty large. So here, let's refresh restream. Go back to the chat, and that deleted my whole chat. That's great. Alright, so we'll see if that fixes any natural delay. Because the Twitch delay is like hella short. Like it's always been, because the Twitch delay is usually like no more than 10 seconds for the most part. Depending on like location and internet times, it's usually about, yeah, like 5 to 10 seconds for me anyway. But I go to YouTube, it's delayed by like 20, which is, yeah, that's not fun. But yeah, I will work on, getting the restream chat, doing all that fun stuff tomorrow. Today is just focused on making sure it functions, which it does. So that's amazing. Because I don't know if you can set up custom YouTube alerts or anything like that through Restream. Because my Twitch alerts should still work. Since those are integrated directly into my OBS, the Twitch ones. But for YouTube, I don't know if I need to do anything more. Alright, we could probably undeafen on Discord now that I have all this working.
Shut up.
It's so fucking rude.
I'm gonna make ice cream and then I'm gonna donate it, and so just so you can't have it. I'm gonna give it
I'll
to
be
somebody
the-
else. That needs...
I'll be the donatee.
No, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna give it to somebody in this state.
In this state, I'll fly over.
It's
In
a
my
12-hour
town.
drive. So, unironically, I know it's around an 11 to 12-hour drive if you
Yeah.
stop minimally for gas. So,
Alright,
Yeah.
guys,
it's like a one-day trip.
I'm back. Looks like I was able to solve Restream.
Nice.
Oh, you're back.
So I can
I'm
now
probably
I can now stream on both Twitch and YouTube with
with
problems.
with problems. Awesome.
There's problem.
Yes. Well, problems on YouTube and specifically.
What's the problem?
YouTube is delayed by like way longer than Twitch is.
Oh.
So like if you're watching the stream through YouTube, it's delayed by like an extra 20-30 seconds, which is a problem.
Yeah, so
No.
Well, if anyone's watching on
Just watch it
YouTube,
on
you just
YouTube.
tell them go watch it on Twitch, and then you get a new viewer on Twitch.
Yeah, the whole point of Restream is to promote the Twitch channel, apparently. Bam!
Yeah.
Foolproof.
You want a better stream experience? Go to the Twitch channel. Fuck YouTube.
And then I'll have to figure out how to set up alerts on the YouTube end and all that stuff, because they work on Twitch. I'm certain.
Thank you for subscribing.
Haven't tested it, because like every time now I can actually see when I get subscribers on the YouTube channel. Oh my god!
Yo, I got a sub.
I had
it was a free
a-
sub.
I had Yang comment on my retro Mario Circuit PB. He is
Who
the first
commented on
person
it?
who's like Yang.
Oh yeah, Yang is
Oh,
cool.
that-
Yeah, he I don't know why. No, it's my Mario Circuit. I posted it 2 days ago. It has 3 views.
What'd Yang
It's not
say?
even that good of a time. He just posted a fire emoji.
yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yang,
Yang is very kind and supportive.
I'm just confused what about my Mario Circuit?
Leave a like and comment every time. It's just kind of by nature to support other creators or just their friends or anyone in general. Some people just do it. They don't think about it. It's like some people like every Instagram post they see. Some people don't touch them. Same thing on YouTube.
I don't like anything. I know the person.
But yeah, Yang is like hella supportive.
I have 6 subscribers.
Well, I want to be the
I am
7th.
not one of them.
Yeah, well, I only post my PBs on them, so
Is your channel called Brick is Soup?
it's just called Brick. The picture's Squirtle.
I was close enough.
This
Yeah,
one
where's
isn't
your ice
bad, to
cream?
be honest. Well, you haven't made it yet.
I'm not making you your fucking ice cream.
PB
Well, why
maybe?
not?
When did
PB
it go
pace?
from regular big age to now?
Like,
Bad turn. Wait, PB pace. Still on PB pace.
think it's still on PB pace.
It's not on PB pace anymore.
Oh,
No.
must be soon.
We're hit the wall.
No. No.
Oh, rip. You playing like DK Summon or something?
Coconut Mall.
Oh, I was close.
Listening to
My
Coconut
fault.
Mall on loop has scientifically proven to make you insane.
It's scientifically proven
That's
to make you live
about
longer.
DDR when you'd hear like the intro, like dun 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 dun, and then you just fell sandhop, and then you listen to that part over and over and over again.
Oh yeah, I'm so
Okay,
about to
hey,
lose
here's
my
the benefit.
sanity.
Just like mute the monitor.
Yeah, like
You don't have to listen to game audio when you're time trialing. It's not like it's required.
Actually, it is.
No, it's not. Well, I had game audio on, but it's super faint. Like,
You're faint.
I'm gonna make,
What a
Alright.
comeback. You're
Yeah,
fake.
I got him with that one, honestly.
yeah, I'm not getting no fucking ice cream.
What the fuck?
You're sus.
Yeah.
I
no, I'm
need to let. I was gonna fucking get this ice cream like 2 hours ago. It was time to eat ice cream. I am eating ice cream, and I'm eating that pint, and I'm going to bed.
Oh, really?
I am, and you're gonna, and you took a picture of your meal, right? You said you're eating it, right? So you must have taken a picture
Fucking ate
beforehand.
it.
Yeah, so you
No.
took a picture beforehand, right?
I'll send you the plate.
The
Not the plate. Not the plate.
I mean, I can take a picture of the plate and you can guess what I ate.
Oh boy, you probably ate like sausage
I
and
was gonna be guessing
ham.
like the fucking town
No.
for 2 hours again. Every food in existence.
At least now we learned the lap 3 car is the ultimate threat on the run.
There's like 3 cards though.
Yeah, the second car, lap 3, is the only one that's threatening.
I think if you the boost panels, if you miss the first boost panel, it's not that big of a deal because of how far out you have to go. It might be, depending on what pace you're on, it might be more beneficial to just take the turn tight and try to get a better angle to get the second boost panel.
On my slow ass pace, that's probably the right play.
What
The
time
thing
do you
is
need
though, is
for-
that second
Yeah.
car is like barely like on that pace, it barely fucked you.
What's the king time that you need?
It's sub 2. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
For my PB1... Oh wow, you barely have the king time here, Cade. Okay. Do 2, 1,
I have, like,
3, and 2, 3. I could probably hit about that pace.
I have like a 203 on Coconut Mall.
Hey, at least what I'm saying, at
Yeah,
least
again.
kid is a good one, so I'm not giving
That-
bad advice.
That makes sense, Cade. I mean, you don't need anything better than king time on this track, honestly. So I don't blame you for stopping
No, you
there.
need- you
That's
need
where I'm
God
gonna stop.
standard.
You need God. You need God. You need the God standard. You know.
Yeah, I think I did like one attempt of CM no glitch where I didn't hit the
So
wall,
second
so I
car,
was like,
first car, third car, second car, third car. Yeah,
It's really hard
let's-
to not hit the walls on Coconut Mall. I won't fret.
Let's hit that pace.
I was gonna go for a new PB on Coconut Mall like a week ago. I did like 15 minutes of attempts. I got pissed off. Went to go play Moo instead. Like,
Your stairs.
I was. That track just sucks.
I don't like Moo Moo Meadows. I think the track's trash.
No, I'd rather play Moo Meadows and look at the cows and play Moo Meadow or play Coconut Mall and look at the stars.
You look like a cow.
Alright.
41,
fuck
41,
you.
39,
I don't
5.
look like a cow.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think
you
I've
do.
ever hit those kind of laps.
You're
41
gonna look like a
is
cow,
an
and you know that
insane
damn ice-
lap.
Damn straight. Alright, I'm going. I'm never gonna leave if I don't leave now.
Oh, I need to go to bed as well.
I'll see you guys.
Alright.
Good luck, Chippy.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you. Goodbye.
I'm gonna wake up and you're still gonna be streaming.
No.
"Alright, good
Maybe
night,
live for another hour max.
All right.
Yeah, I'll see
I'm
you guys.
going to
Goodbye.
bed as well.
Goodbye.
And tonight was only meant to be a test stream.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go to good night, guys. Have fun.
Yep. Good night. Goodbye.
And yeah, Trippy's gonna be playing Coconut Mall for the next 40 hours
Probably.
right here.
Not straight, but I
No,
wouldn't be.
definitely straight.
I wouldn't be surprised if it takes 40 hours to beat the ghost.
All right. Good luck. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I keep getting the low left 3, but
All right, we got rid of everybody. Let's talk shit. Oh wait, never mind. Chroma's still here. Hi, Chroma.
Yo, what's up? Yeah, I'm gonna head out. Like,
No,
I
no, no, no,
can't
no, 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 no. I was kidding. I was kidding.
I'll stick around for a little bit, but I can't get a fucking pace. I really like seeing the sheet though. With like, Rick used to, I don't know if you mentioned, like, he used to have a version of this the time trial sheet where it was just me, him, and another friend that really does not play very often.
Oh yeah, yeah. He
And
had
seeing with,
mentioned.
like, yeah, seeing with activity and like not seeing my name on some of the categories is really like, it's giving me motivation for the first time in forever to grind these tracks. Really fun.
Yeah, that's where the fun comes in, is having competition.
Something like CM No Glitch though, like, oh, you can't catch me driving that track. That is.
Oh yeah, I don't want to drive it, but I need King Standard, so.
It is a noble goal, and best of luck. King Standard everywhere. Holy. I think I barely have expert in every track. Or actually, on this Wii I don't. I'm missing one.
There are a few tracks that I've put CLP, so you'll play at 40 hours gay then? Oh my god. Okay, let's chill. And another 24-hour stream is not happening until Mario Kart World comes out. And I will do a 24-hour stream on launch day. Granted, Granted, we have enough for it. Which right now, thanks to Brick, we're at a hefty 25 big ones towards that goal. So it could happen.
Still very early.
Yeah, it's still got 2 months until the console comes out, so plenty of time. Because I don't see myself being a big time trialer in the new game. I'll probably just stick to playing it casually, but it should be fun.
Yeah, I think messing around in time trials, like everyone, if they get the game, going through once, everyone doing a time trial, like, for the first time and seeing who gets the best time, like, that could be really fun.
Yeah.
I remember doing that in Wii for the before we got into like competitive time trialing. But yeah, I don't think anything with like outside drift, it just doesn't drive the same. It doesn't feel the same as Mario Kart Wii. Like, I've never been able
that's
to
fair.
get into the other ones.
Yeah, Colcada, Brick linked me Carter's video. I used it for Moonview Highway specifically. That helped a lot on learning Moonview, but I didn't really watch any of the other tracks on that video, since I didn't think any of the others would really help towards King Standard, but if Coconut Mall does, then I will look into it. Oh my god, I keep hitting walls. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that would absolutely help. 157 potential is nuts. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that after tonight's stream, because I do have the link to that video in my saved list. And if it helped you, I'm sure it could help me. But you're also a considerably more experienced time trialer than I am. I'm still just a beginner time trialer who pushes for king times. 'Cause I think my PB here is like a 201.5. With probably some potential to improve. Dang, we have 8 viewers across both platforms. That's pretty high, actually, at this hour of the night.
Is this your first YouTube stream or just the first multi-stream?
This is my first YouTube stream.
Oh, nice.
And
You already
first
told viewers on
multi-stream.
that? That's awesome.
Well, I'm streaming on both YouTube and Twitch. I assume the majority are from Twitch, but
Oh, it just tells you combined. I thought you
Yeah.
like you can see the.
no, it gives a it just gives a combined.
Because I'm in Twitch right now and it says 5, which means if that should mean 3 on YouTube, which that's awesome for a first YouTube stream.
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, it's crazy. It's the hype is there for sure.
Nice.
So all my YouTube channel had up to this point was just the Road to Bronze series. Which hasn't really been going amazing because I keep hovering between copper and iron. It's like I hit copper and then I lose and go to iron and then I hit copper again and then I'm back in iron.
I like, didn't you just promote again in
Yeah.
the last Mogi we
Yeah, the
played?
last Mogi I got back to copper because the freaking season reset pushed me all the way from 1900 LR, which was my peak of LR, and I dropped back down to 1100.
Oh, that's rough.
And now the copper iron cycle is repeating.
Oh, man. I believe you can break it. You can push out. Especially like the way you're playing today in the Mogi. Y'all went crazy.
Yeah, the time trial practice has definitely been paying off. I ran
Nice.
Gorge pretty handedly, which I'm very happy about.
Like, I remember someone also did like the race time on, I think it was Raceway, and I know that track's a little more RNG, but you fucking destroyed Raceway if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, I got a golden on first set and I just ran first. Not very experienced for TTs because most of the time I played this game was when I was very young, didn't know how to improve. Oh yeah, when I was younger, I wasn't even thinking about time trialing in this game. I would play online as a Blue Falcon main with my dad, and we had a blast.
Blue Falcon, that's awesome.
And then when the online servers got shut down, I started learning how to time trial. I found out about the Rainbow Road Kart shortcut and the BC Wii glitch, and I spent a lot of time practicing those.
ECZ glitch, my beloved. As a starting glitch, I can't. That must have been.
Oh no
fun.
no 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 nope 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 Oreo, don't do it. Don't do it, buddy. I appreciate you, but please don't do that. Alright, we're good. I swear, this cat knows exactly where the power button is on my computer, and he keeps trying to turn it off.
It's too funny.
Because he acts like he's just laying down next to my mouse by my TV, and then he moves his paw right on over to the power button,
He
all
knows.
inconspicuous like. Because he
He's
has turned
messing
off
with
my
you.
computer twice midstream, so he knows exactly what he's doing. But we love him. Because, you know, I don't mind him hanging out up here as long as he doesn't, you know, turn off the computer. Because we love
I don't know,
my
I've had-
kitty. We love my kitty.
My girlfriend said the same thing, where she's been like, literally a couple days ago, she was in a Baldur's Gate run, hadn't saved in like 30 plus minutes, and her cat turned off the computer in the middle of a boss fight. She lost everything.
That's tragic. But hey Oreo, Bullcade says oh, he did not like that. Okay, I'm sorry. And Cool Kate says sorry too. Oh, he looks mad. Oh no. Oh man, I'm really worried about what he's gonna do tonight. He holds grudges. Last time he was mad at me like this, he knocked over my gamepad. Yes, I snitched on you for knocking over my gamepad. I'm still mad about that. Oh, he's so cute. Can't tell I'm a huge fan of animals, cats especially.
I am too. I don't have any. I used to have a couple cats, but I really want to get another one again.
Because I've had 2 dogs, but they've both sadly are long gone.
What kind of cat do you have? Or what color, more accurately, I guess.
Well, if you can guess by his name is Oreo, so take a guess.
So, yeah, okay. Black and white.
Yeah.
Is he a tuxedo or just kind of like black and white? Oh, they're so cute.
Tuxedo, like, yeah, he's adorable.
Nice.
I have a picture of him somewhere. I'll send to you.
Please do. I really want to get a cat again, but I understand why my family, we haven't. When I get my own place, I will.
But yeah, because my dog was a Yorkie Poodle mix, and she passed away like 2 years ago.
I'm sorry.
But she lived to be 13, so she had a long life.
I have a chocolate lab right now, and he is the most adorable thing. He was like the runt of his litter, and he's still like, he's not that small, but he's like a small little lab, and he's all bark, no bite. He thinks he's so tough. He's so cute.
Yeah, my dad's puppy is like that too. She has a huge bark, but she's like the sweetest. Alright, let's get back onto the Coconut Mall focus. I haven't gotten a run past lap 1.
Yeah, same. I also I've been stuck in the meadows.
I'm blaming it on Oreo, even though it's not even remotely his fault.
I just can't get a load.
Cause would it be faster to like do this? If I'd gotten the wheelie, it might have been. Because it feels like it's not really faster to stay on the rail like that. If you can use the upwards momentum of the escalator while maintaining your boost, I feel like that would be faster. But also less consistent than just being on the rail line the whole time.
Yeah, if you can start the wheelie full speed though, then that should definitely be faster. Just depends how long, like how fast you can hit the ground, I think. Off the escalator is way less consistent, but
yeah, because I don't fully understand how the momentum works in this game, but learning would be nice. Because let's say I just go like this, I miss the trick entirely, but that lands me in the wheelie at full speed because I'm airborne. So if I maintain a boost speed during that time, or could you stick too
if you
even?
landed full speed just because you're going in midair. I don't know if you land full speed there. I could be wrong, but I haven't like that's something where I used to like play on Dolphin. Having a speedometer up just for stuff like that when practicing segments would be really nice to see. Like where are you keeping full speed? Where are you dropping it?
Yeah, because that felt like a full speed land right there. I just had a bad angle, so I couldn't tell if it was faster. but I got like the exact low I wanted and to the right amount of air that I was expecting. So maybe, because if I'm getting air like that, then it's just faster to go on the red.
Yeah.
But if I can get that perfect low and the perfect amount of air where I land like right after the escalator with that momentum, that wheelie should be full speed, hypothetically. And then I'm in the wheelie for longer because I land earlier, which means I'm at full speed for longer. So that's what I believe would make it faster. But executing is a whole nother story. Because yeah, getting the wheelie is tough. But yeah, my ghost gained hella time on me there because I wasn't full speed. Because I got the initial time gain from getting that super low, but then lost it all because I wasn't in wheelie speed when I landed. What was that?
Oh, what a bounce.
I got air there too? What? What is that?
When you think of bouncy stages, you don't usually think of CM, but it's like a trampoline right now.
Going flying. Yeah, I feel like that would be faster if I could just get the right angle. I can't do it, man. I did not realize how hard this track was gonna be. I knew it was gonna be tough, but I didn't expect to not even be able to make it out of lap 1.
Yeah, dude, fuck that track. I remember when I was getting new times in for this week, it was literally just like get one run in and get off the track. I hate that track. I guess coming from time trialing and then going to Mogi does make it like, I think of certain tracks as glitch and no glitch, which is really like, if CM gets picked, I'm done. Double Volcano gets picked, I get destroyed in Mogi.
Fair.
Although I did hit respawn for like really clean for the first time today, which is kind of sad, but I've only done like 4 or 5 movies.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, that's perfectly fine. I mean, Brick's not exactly a respawn savant either.
Well, I see his stream. He hits it like, he might hit it like once a race. I hit it like once ever. So he's still hitting it sometimes.
I could show you a consistent setup for it if you'd be interested.
I feel like I have seen a consistent setup like
'Cause
a long time ago. Like
'cause-
just like a line you can take without any spin drifting, and it's still get the respawn every time.
Yeah, because you don't exactly need anything fancy. You can literally just shroom off at the right spot and wheelie, and that's all you have to do. It's not the fastest way to do it, but you will make it 100% of the time.
Yeah, that's something I need to get down if I want to keep doing Mogies.
But like, yeah, Rock Hop you won't have to worry about because hardly anyone does it in Tier 0.
Something I'm really surprised people don't go for in Tier 0, like, I always thought DK Summit double was like not that bad. and almost nobody goes for it.
It's a little bit too risky online with how easy it is to get bumped, which is why most people don't go for it unless they have like a huge lead or nobody's near them. Because if somebody is even remotely near you and they go for single, you're getting bumped out. There's just no other way.
That's fair. I guess maybe I've gotten lucky. I feel like I go for double like every time, unless I know like I am actively in the middle of bumping someone like they're right next to me, and I've been pretty lucky. But then again, all it takes is I guess a few memories of getting absolutely destroyed on double for automatic 12th place, and then maybe I'll change my mind.
Yeah, because I've gotten destroyed on double a fair share of times to know when it's best to go for and when it's not.
Yeah, that kind of game sense is what I need to work on. That and also just being aware of what's behind me, because I get destroyed by stars and bullets way too much in Mogi. Like, I can't see looking back.
Yeah, that's what I need to develop in 8 Deluxe. Is because I swear I'm getting hit by everything in that game.
That game, the items are even more chaotic, honestly. But the tracks are also wider, so like the shells are, I think, are a little easier to dodge. I don't know.
The shells are also way faster in that game.
Oh, that's a good point. And I know lag trailing in that game is a whole other beast compared to Wii.
Oh yeah. Again, I'm hoping the new Mario Kart doesn't have those similar problems, but based on what gameplay we have seen so far of the game, I'm worried.
Yeah, I mean, something I am very excited that I saw in just the hardware of the Switch 2 is the Ethernet port that isn't an accessory, like everyone can
Oh
just have
yeah,
Ethernet
yeah.
in Switch 2.
I'm so hyped for that.
I kind of seriously doubt the average Nintendo enjoyer will bother putting Ethernet in their Switch.
Oh, probably
You know,
not.
I feel like the gamers, and if there's
But-
something like Mogi, it's like, yes, that's gonna be probably way better than 8 Deluxe Mogi, because imagine Internet's a little hard to enforce on the Switch. But now
Oh, yeah.
it's gonna be like, hey, you have no excuse. There's the fucking port right there.
Because yeah, they've been begging to enforce Ethernet on the Wii for a while now. It's just not something that's really feasible.
I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah, because there have been a lot of complaints about the connection on the Wii being super unstable and trying to force people to use Ethernet. Which is its
Yeah.
own issue. But again, I couldn't believe that they didn't mention it during the direct of the hardware specs. That, oh yeah, by the way, there's just an Ethernet port now for it.
Yeah. They just brushed by it completely.
Because you see
I
it in the
think it's-
diagram of the console itself, so it's clearly there, but I can't believe they didn't mention it.
It's like there's an Ethernet, USB-C, and HDMI on the inside, and then I think it's just 2 USBs on the outside, but only 2 compared to 3 on the Switch 1 dock. That's
Yeah,
fine,
that's not a
but-
huge issue to me.
Yeah, you're right though. I have no idea why they didn't highlight it. It feels like something that, you know, maybe they realize the average Nintendo fan like
Yeah.
probably isn't gonna care that much, but
But like the people that watch the direct are going to care.
yeah, that's
Like any parent that's
should.
buying the Switch for their kid isn't gonna really like be concerned about, oh, well, what's this other cord thing? It doesn't seem like it's necessary to run the console, so who cares, right? But like to the gamers, that's a huge deal. Having a direct line of connection to the console. Especially with the more powerful hardware, hopefully the online connectivity will be a bit better.
Yeah. And it's got like dedicated cooling and docked mode, so like there's gonna be no. I'm hoping the performance is just. It
Yeah.
should be more on par with at least PS4, Xbox One era.
Yeah, because they're putting 4K and HDR on that shit, so it needs to have a cooling system.
Yeah.
I just hope they tested it with like extended gameplay.
Extended like 10-hour gaming sessions, or you mean like?
Yeah, like an extensive amount of time to be able to use it for. Because like if they only tested it and like, well, yeah, the fan works for like a solid like 3 hours and then your console's gonna suddenly start shitting the bed. I hope that's not the case.
Yeah, that would suck.
But I'm sure they did pretty extensive testing on it. Again, it's just the price point for the console makes perfect sense with the capabilities it's going to have. 450 is a lot more than I want to try to have to save up for, but you know, it's fair with what it's offering. The games are inexcusable.
Yeah, that $90 for software is not okay. And having to pay like $30 to upgrade the software you already own, also not okay. In my opinion. That's just like,
Because again, I
maybe
love
if
the
you're
physical version of games. I don't want to have to spend $90 on a physical version of Mario Kart.
yeah.
I don't know. Not all of us are making brick money where he's like, yeah, I can just kind of buy it. It's whatever. Like,
Yeah,
I
I
can't.
don't make brick money.
Yeah, I can't just buy it and be like, oh, whatever. And then it's like, okay, if I want to have,
Let's say, I would not call 5 games a library of games, but 5 games feels like, hey, you have something on the system. 5 games, that's $450. That's the price of the console.
Yeah, just to have
5
the
games
launch
is literally
titles.
The price of the console. Yeah, to have the fucking launch, not library, but just launch titles. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, because again, we expected $70 games. That's the norm nowadays. Would we have loved $60 games? Absolutely, but they're not going to charge the same price for the Switch 2 games that they are for the Switch 1 games. So 70, you know, we would have all expected that, and that would have made sense. 80, what the hell are you doing? 90, we're rioting.
That's like a slap in the face. Like, you're going to eat our shit and you're gonna like it, and like you're gonna lick it up. And I don't know. I'm done with Nintendo like that. Like, I think the new Mario Kart will be hyped, but I'm not gonna buy a Switch 2 right away.
Again, I am just praying that the fund somehow works out and I can actually get this thing on launch. Because there is no way that I can get it on my own accord. There's no chance.
but good luck. Hopefully, the grind, the streaming grind will pay off. I believe.
But yeah, but we're gonna
a
stream
good
like
point.
crazy and we're gonna pray. I might even get a job this summer.
Hype. The Switch 2 fun IRL.
Because I don't want to have to go back to my shitty ass retail job, but I will if I need to. Because I will not work in fast food no matter what. That environment is fucking horrible. And I'm not dealing with it.
Yeah.
But I will go back to my movie theater job if it becomes necessary.
Ooh. How? So.
Because I actually really enjoyed my time at the movie theater.
Or...
I was the leader of the cleaning team. Like, we would just go in and clean all the shows afterwards.
Oh, that's chill.
And at one point, I was
Right
even like the manager of like the pre-opening stuff. So we'd get there at like 5 a.m. and just
Oh my
clean
God.
absolutely everything, and then I would just leave at noon. So again, that's the part that I didn't like, because when they initially offered me the position, because I was like, yeah, management, leadership, hell yeah, I'd take that. They had before mentioned it like 2 months before I started that it would be overnights. And I was all in on overnights because, you know, it made perfect sense. Work overnight. So it'd be like 11, like maybe about 11 p.m. to like 6:30 a.m. And I'm like, perfect.
Oh, wow.
That's great. And then a week before it starts, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, it's going to be at 5 a.m.
That's fucked up. I remember when I worked at McDonald's, when I worked in fast food, I would work the closing shift. It would be like 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. If they told me like last minute, oh, you're opening, I just would quit. I would not work there. I can't, like, that's unimaginable. Work at 5 a.m. Like, yeah, it's probably nice. You don't have to deal with people, especially if you're just cleaning like the movie theater.
and like
when people are out of the theater, it's I like a job where you can be kind of antisocial. That's nice.
And like the
Makes
5
it
a.m.
fun.
part wasn't the most annoying to me. It's like I could deal with it. It's what happened afterwards was like a week into it, the freaking executives come in and like so they do an executive tour at like 9 a.m., right? Or like 8, 9 in the morning. So instead of having, uh instead of having like, 5, 6 hours to get everything done, we had to get it done in 3. And the rest of my team doesn't show up until 6 a.m. I'm the only one that has to get there at 5.
Oh, so then they
So
have to
I
keep
show
it
up at
until-
5 to
oh,
set
no.
everything up, and then the rest of the team comes in at 6, and we start, cleaning everything. But so basically, we had 2 hours to clean what usually takes 6 for the
Oh, God.
executives.
That's not a good one.
Granted, we
Alright.
did it, but it was a nightmare because none of the other managers decided to show up until like 7:30, a half hour before all the executives are showing up. So that part really annoyed me, and then the executives were like asking me if I thought it was a good idea to do these early mornings. And I straight up told them that it would have been better to do it overnight instead of in the early mornings. And they said they would take it into consideration, which I was pretty happy about because I worked my ass off to make it good for the executives. And then
Did
2
they?
days after that, our general manager leaves, gets transferred to a new location, and the new general manager that comes in just changes literally everything.
In a good way or a bad way? I mean, it sounds like
A very bad way. Very,
Oh,
very
no.
bad way.
So if the first managers are already changing your job expectations the week before you start, now
Yes.
it's getting worse.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then
no.
it got even worse 2 weeks after I started the new position. And then I got a freaking foot injury on the job.
Workers' comp or just like sucks?
Yeah,
Did you get anything
just
for it,
sucks.
or-
They at least helped through,
Oh,
the medical visit, but then beyond that, I still had to show up at 5 a.m. because none of the other managers wanted to do my shift because why would they want to do a 5 a.m., right? So none of them would do it. So I was still expected to come in at 5 in the morning on a fucked up leg and still do the full job expectation.
that's fucked.
And so I literally
That's-
couldn't. So I would just show up, I would set up what I could, and then I would have to like pull out a chair from the office and watch the team because I literally couldn't walk on my foot.
That
And
sounds
so-
like a great general manager. That
And so
sounds
the work
very-
started to decline because of it because I couldn't help and we were horridly understaffed. Because even with me there, we were understaffed by like 2 people every day. So with me being unable to basically work, we were 3 people short on what we needed to get the expected job done. So we had to start cutting corners. We couldn't full mop every theater anymore because it would take too much time. So we would have to half mop some of the theaters, and then even on like some of the theaters we would only be able to like mop the runway and like maybe the first row, and that's the best we could do with the time that we were given. And I kept constantly complaining about this. I was like, if you're gonna force me to be here while I can't work my full job expectation, then we need more people. And then, like,
That's-
2 months later, they finally hire somebody else who can freaking come in at 5 a.m. And then, so I took the, like, 2 weeks to train them, and then I went back to just evenings, because after that, I was like, yeah, screw that. They have somebody else now, I'm going to evenings.
Yeah, that's what I would do. It sounds like it could be a vibe, but just like cleaning the theaters, chilling, but understaffed early in the morning with other like people just not showing up every day. That's
Yeah,
fucked
it was just a horrible environment. And then like 2 weeks after I went back on nights, we got a new manager. Uh, yeah, we got another new manager on this team, and this manager was somehow even worse than the last two. I don't even know how that's
Oh,
possible.
no.
Because again, that first manager, the reason that I took the job in the first place was because he was the most awesome guy in the world, and I would have done anything to help him because he was just amazing. And then the next two that come in are just the two worst pieces of crap on the planet. And so after working for this new manager for like 2 weeks, I couldn't take it anymore. And then like a week before Thanksgiving, I just put in my notice and I'm like, Thanksgiving is the last day I'm working. And I would have left even sooner than that, but I really needed the money and Thanksgiving is time and a half. So I worked an 8-hour shift on Thanksgiving and made like $200. So I was super
Nice.
happy.
That's sick. Yeah.
That shift was the worst one of my life, but at least the money made up for it. And I have heard that the two managers that made the place worse are gone now. So maybe it wouldn't hurt to go back. At least for like the weekends. Just do something temporary to get a little bit of money towards this console. But last I checked they weren't hiring, so
Well, it sounds like the manager turnover is pretty high. So maybe if you keep waiting, maybe you can become a manager there. Maybe you could be the GM.
I wouldn't want to be the GM, especially at that location.
Yeah, being a GM, like those places, it's a stressful job.
Because I just don't like dealing with poor management, and every fast food and retail job mostly has poor management.
Yeah, there's that like theory where people will get promoted, like if they're competent at their job, they'll get promoted until the level where they're incompetent. So the managers are all like, if they're good at managing, then they'll become a GM, and if they're good at a GM, then they'll go get their own store, and if they don't get to become a regional manager, and it's like, so then the people that are left filling their shoes are always going to be worse at the job. It's a funny paradox in the corporate ladder that kind of leads to, just failure of management on every level in every corporate place has existed in all time. Just like no McDonald's has been run well in the history of McDonald's.
Yeah, because I actually worked at that job uncontested with beautiful managers for like the first 2 years until the day I got offered that overnight job. That's when everything fell apart.
That just sounds like some bad timing then as well. Yeah, like once the bureaucracy hit, they needed one chain fell in the defense.
Yeah,
everything is kind of
because the second our GM left, everything went to crap. Because we went through like 3 GMs at that store, and like we never had an issue up until the newest one. And granted, honestly, that new GM, he wasn't even bad. It was just it was just because he was new to the store, he was letting the other manager, like the one for guest service, he was letting them call all the shots of what was gonna change. When literally nothing needed to change because it was running just fine. So then this new person brings in all sorts of demands like, harder schedules, even less employees than what I had already to freaking work with in the early mornings.
Well, again, labor costs down, man hours versus operation costs, and
yeah. Again, they were just doing it for good points on their stat card, but it completely ruined the authenticity of our cleaning. Is like we could not make it look up to standard anymore.
we had some similar issues at McDonald's. I remember there'd be the managers were so concerned sometimes with like getting labor costs down. They're like, we physically like, we need to get costs down. They would send people off their shifts, clock them out without telling them sometimes, and like kick them off the line, kick them out of their job. To the point where like we'd have to send people home, because the store would be empty, and then we hit a lunch rush, and then we have like 2 people to handle a line of like 12 cars, and
Oh yeah, that
it's all
sounds
just like,
fun.
oh yeah, we need to get it down. Like, no, you don't understand. There's going to be a rush in 10 minutes, and then it's like, oh, labor costs look great because we earned all this money this hour. But like, yeah, fucking 3 people doing it, and like you get punished for being good at your job because like you're the one that is forced to stay and deal with that rush now, and it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Also, sorry for the late response, Cool Cade. But yeah, I think I would agree that they are definitely trying to step away from physical games. That's not going to stop me from being upset about it, just because I love having the physical copies. Because I'd rather have a physical copy that says I own this game rather than a digital code that whenever they decide to shut down the servers is like, oh yeah, you can't play this game that you spent $90 on anymore.
Yep. Or if your
Like,
console breaks, that's another foreign. Like, you can't do anything with the game anymore. You need to buy a whole new console versus like,
I don't know, bring it to like if I remember getting a DS game, it broke. Bring the game to a friend's house, play on their DS until I got a new DS. That's like I actually less likely to do that with a Wii, but the idea of if something breaks, you don't just lose it forever. That's really valuable.
yeah. Is basically it would be like because at this job when I took the mornings for like the first week, the good GM that initially hired me for the position would be there every single day, even earlier than I would show up. Like he'd be there at like 4:30 and I'd get there at 5
Wow.
and we would have like 2 or 3 of the theaters done before any of the 6 o'clock people showed up. Like honestly, me and him could have done the job ourselves. And
That's a good feeling.
when he left, I think that's what the new GM people were expecting was just like 2 people could get the whole thing done. But the issue was because the 2 people that were doing it were like amazingly well at what they do. Because this GM he had been cleaning for like 10, 15, 20 years and I already had a lot of cleaning experience. So I knew exactly what I needed to do because I had the training beforehand to make up for it. So they were expecting me to be able to train like 2 entirely new people who have had 0 cleaning experience in a theater environment, suddenly be able to clean all the theaters, plus the bathrooms, plus the lobby, kitchen, and dining area in like 5 hours. Less. And
it's just like if you want,
it was
if you
just,
want
it
it
was
done well,
completely
do it overnight then.
unrealistic.
If you can't get more people, why not do it overnight and just like give you more time to clean them?
Yeah,
That's
and that's what I suggested is instead of hiring 4 people for a 4 or 5 hour right before we open, hire 3 people for overnight and give us 7, 8 hours to do it.
yeah.
And
And
then
the labor cost is the same.
and the labor
It's
cost would
just
be the
less
exact
work.
same because you just treat us as full time. And that's all they had to do. So instead of having 4 part timers, just have 3 full timers.
That's like a lot of so many places, so many fast food places. Like if you just if imagine a McDonald's that hired a kitchen staff of 2 or 3 just like grown men that had worked in a kitchen before instead of hiring 6 to 8 like 15-year-old kids that don't know what they're doing and they're gonna leave in 3 months anyway. Like it's you get to pay them less, right? I guess the labor cost of what you're actually paying your employees is usually less when they're less experienced, but it's just work is so much less efficient. It gets done so much slower.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes,
I've thought about it so many times. Like, why do we keep hiring? Like, when I was a crew trainer,
I'm like, why am I hiring a new, like, this is someone's like kid that is a friend of the GM that we're hiring them. Questionable if they're of legal hiring age. Like, why are we trying to get this person on staff? They've never worked a day in their life. I guess they
Yeah,
need
that
the
sounds.
experience, but at the same time, it's like they're gone in 2 months. Why are we investing in these people that are going to? We know they're gonna leave. Why hire them?
Because yeah, I was also in charge of conducting interviews, and like I had this one guy that I knew for sure, 110% that I wanted this guy on my team. He was so experienced. He was so experienced. He had his own former business, and he wanted to do all sorts of
Wow.
other stuff and work up the ladder. And I respected it, and I was gonna hire him straight away. But because I had to get permission from the other people, they're like, he's too overqualified. And I'm like, the fuck do you mean too overqualified? He wants to work here. Let's let him work here.
I don't even know what that means. That's
He was definitely overqualified, but not giving him an entry level job because he's too overqualified is a ridiculous thought, in my opinion.
yeah.
So instead, they wanted me
don't
to
understand
hire this
that.
one kid who had just gotten out of working like as a janitor at a school, which I guess is granted, good cleaning experience. But I'm like, you really want to hire this kid over this guy who is going to climb up the corporate ladder in less than 2 years guaranteed?
Maybe they were scared of him. Maybe they
So-
felt threatened.
So I had to push so freaking hard to eventually just get them both hired. Because again, I didn't mind having the younger janitor person also be a part of the staff. That wasn't my issue. The issue I had is they wanted to hire him instead of the other guy, and I'm like, let's just hire them both. We need the staff anyway.
Yeah, good point. And did you end up hiring them both?
Yes, we did.
Oh, that's good.
It took a
That's
lot
good.
of convincing from me to get this guy hired. And apparently afterwards I found out that the managers told him that I was the main push that got him hired in the first place, which again I think is just stupid. Like the fact I need credit for somebody who's more than qualified to work there is just ridiculous. So he ended up thanking me. I gave him great training, and I hear now that he that person has the position that I did. So, like I said, he was going to work up very quickly. I knew that for a fact, and I don't get how they didn't see it. Or they clearly did see it
They're trained to
because
see dollar
because he's
signs,
he's
not people.
overqualified. But
Yeah.
again, they just saw it as extra labor, and I saw it as necessary extra labor and somebody who was more than good enough to work there. That's what I saw it as. Because again, they gave me all the responsibilities of manager with no perks. It was weird.
Yeah,
Like I
That's
had a
really-
key. I
that's
had
a
a key
red
to the
flag to
building.
me
I had to
of,
manage a full team. Well, granted, it was only like 4 people most of the time, but it was a full team. Before anyone else got there, and the first manager wouldn't show up until like 4 hours later.
it's a big red flag to me when jobs are like they start to give you extra responsibilities without any extra benefit or pay or
Yeah.
anything like that. Like I remember at McDonald's, it was very explicit. I started off there and I was on the closing shift in my first week, and I had a manager that like he was leaving the store. He did not train me. He had friends coming and visiting him at work, and I was running the store alone in my first week. So it was absolutely abysmal to learn in, but also it meant I had to get really good really fast. So I got promoted to be like a crew trainer within the first month and a half, which was
Slave
like,
labor sounds about right.
yeah, it was like, okay, that's works out for me. But they kept wanting to me to be a manager and push me on the manager track to like all become a manager within the next couple months. And I was like, no, I am in college. I don't have time because to be a manager you need to be working minimum like 35 hours a week. I'm like, some
Yeah.
weeks I cannot commit to that. And they just were like, oh, that's okay. We'll just keep training you like you're going to be a manager and giving me extra responsibilities. I'm like, am I getting paid more for this? And they're like, well, no, because you're not actually becoming a manager. I'm like, so why am I doing it? And they're like, you need to keep showing growth and potential for growth. I'm like, it's McDonald's. It's not that serious. I'm here to make money
Potential
on
for
the side,
growth.
bro. Yeah, it's like my manager straight up told me like, yeah, we're upset because when you first started here, you showed amazing potential, and you've like lately began to stagnate like months later. I'm like, yeah, because I don't want to be a manager at McDonald's. I got really good at my job, and I'm staying really good at my job. What's the problem? I'm better than everyone else you hire in the fucking store. And they're like, we want you to be a manager. We want you to be better. I'm like, fuck you, man. It's everything corporate is like, yeah, you're gonna get promoted until your level of incompetence, and then you're gonna still feel ass at your job for an extra what dollar an hour
Oh
to
yeah, that's
manage like 10 times as many people. I'm okay. I am a-okay, and I'm still doing half their shit anyway. But
yeah, cause
that was a very poorly run store.
I wanted the manager position because again they were treating me like I basically already was one with no additional benefits or perks or the pay upgrade, which at my store was $5 an hour. It was a fucking
That's a
huge
lot.
ass increase, and I'm
Dude.
like, I want that.
I
And I'm like, I want that. So if you're giving me a key to the building and treating me like I'm a manager for the first fucking 4 hours of my day that I'm training these people, then I expect the benefits. And they kept saying, "Oh yeah, we'll get to that eventually." And then after I got my foot injury and couldn't do my full job anymore, and they were still, not trying to help me at all, I left. And the funny part is, right afterwards, because I'm still friends with like 2 or 3 of the people that still work there, because I kept connections, what I found out is right after I left, and the managers suddenly had to start picking up my shifts, every single idea that I told them needed to change got implemented right after I left, and they had to do it. Because when they had to do it, they realized how fucking hard it was, and they suddenly put out every idea that I had. So the place ultimately got better because I left.
But only because they didn't want to get their hands dirty because
Yeah.
they didn't know they didn't trust you when doing the actual fucking job until they did it.
But purely because the managers had no idea how actually fucking hard I was working until they did it themselves.
Yeah. And cool, K, that's exactly what I was talking. I was talking about that exact concept earlier. And that's kind of what I was saying. Like the same thing there. Yeah, people getting like promoted to their level of incompetence. There is a name for it, like the something paradox. I forget, like something paradox. Something
Cool
like
kid. That is literally exactly what Chroma was saying.
Yeah, it's a
Because,
awful symptom of the corporate America, or this is the corporate world, I guess, and it's gonna. I'm in school to be a teacher, and I can't say it's really any different in a school, but that is more like you have a lot more control in your classroom of your sphere. So I hope I get my classroom, get tenure, and they leave me the fuck alone. I get to chill. That's my plan.
Because I'm just sad that it took me leaving for them to actually make change. Again, it's great that it worked out for everyone else, but it at the end of the day, I'm the one who got fucked over.
Yeah, no, that's
I worked harder than everyone else, and I deserved that credit, and that pay raise, and I never got it.
Even just like your ideas, you had the right ideas that were
Yeah,
clearly correct.
I had every idea to fix the place, and none of them got taken into account until after they were forced to do it themselves. Because again, it took me a good month to realize that I was being heavily taken advantage of, because I didn't realize it until after my injury, and they kept trying to push me to work full hours.
Oh yeah, they will exploit you for every cent that you can make for them.
To work full hours under the conditions we were already in, because basically I was just taking up an employee slot that these people really needed to, get the job done. And thank you for the follow, Yamchas. We appreciate it. And nice, the notifications work on stream. That's beautiful. I wanted to test that.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so that's what So that's when I finally realized that yeah, they were just completely screwing me over, and that the rest of my team didn't deserve to get screwed over like this. Because I was the one that took the most fall because I'm the one who's supposed to be responsible for the whole team, but I couldn't work my full job when I was injured. So the rest of my team, that which was already small, had to pick up the slack. Only for the managers, when they did finally come in at like 9 in the morning for their shift, they would be upset that it wasn't clean up to standard.
I mean, yeah, that is really shitty. It's getting put on you, and it's not your fault clearly.
Yeah.
From a workplace injury, but it sounds like you started saying you might go back to work there. So if you still know people there, or relationships are still good. They're
Yeah.
not hiring, I guess, right now. Like maybe in the summer, it could still
Yeah,
be
because
an option.
I have good relations with the rest of the team, just not the managers. Because the rest of the team fully understood my situation. The managers, they just didn't care.
Yeah, I was kind of
So,
similar.
I still keep in contact with a few of them, and I even hang out with some of them IRL. They're awesome people. That the people like the people that I worked with and led. They're very awesome, very nice people, and they worked really hard. Like they deserve credit. It's just I don't know if I want to go back to that environment even with new management because they say it's gotten a lot better, but I don't know if I can trust them.
Yeah, that's something where I think having it really depends on your mindset and perspective going into it sometimes. Where if you went in with a completely different mindset, like I know these people, like even if they're better managers, they still their end goal is to exploit me for as much money as possible. And you go in like, I'm gonna do your work, do it well, have a good time with good people, but like a lot more mindful of your own worth and not letting it get to the point where it sounds like it did last time. It probably still could be a very chill, nice working experience. Just
Because I feel like if I'm not in that
movie theaters, that's
position of
awesome.
leadership and I just stuck with being like either like just one of the early morning cleaners or even go back to like evenings, I feel like maybe it wouldn't be that bad under the new management, but because I cannot go back into a position of leadership after the way I was treated there.
Yeah, yeah, you got to know your self worth. That's just not worth it to go again.
Because if they're gonna put that much responsibility on me with no additional perks or pay, then I'm not dealing with that. But maybe if I just went back as like just a regular employee, maybe it would be better.
I remember when I worked at McDonald's, I did not smoke weed, but almost everyone that worked at the store would come in high. So many of the people that were just normal employees, they would come in high, and they were still good at their jobs, right? They were fine.
Yeah.
But I always was like, I would never let myself do that. They're kind of like my position at work. If I ever went back to work there, I would be fucking blasted every day. That would be so chill. I'm just making sandwiches, and I bet I can like the muscle memory would still be fine, but I can't like I can't take that job as seriously as I ever did again. If I went back, it would just be like, hey, I'm here to make my money. You just leave me alone, and I'm gonna do my job well. And if they don't leave me alone, I'm just gonna fuck off.
Yeah, because that's also what I'm worried about if I were to return to an environment I'm already familiar with, is I'm just not gonna have anywhere near as much passion as I did when I started.
Yeah, it's like
Because again, the
even
only
if it's not
saving grace about that place is were the people that I worked with.
it would be even if the work is fine and even if you are somewhat passionate about the work, if you don't have people to get it through, it's gonna feel so long every day.
Yeah.
You're just like waiting for it to end. And I remember
It's
the
because as
managers
a
I had, so some of them were so chill. When I quit from my job, me and another manager quit at the same time because the GM was just there was some situation that I'm not gonna get into, but the GM like fucking another employee and stuff going wrong because of it. And
Lovely.
both me and a manager yeah, both me and a manager fell under the gun for that, and we both quit before things got worse for ourselves.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's like even if the management is gone now, like even if that management's gone, I just don't think I'm ever gonna trust management like that ever again, and I would just keep my head down because any drop of the wrong side of the drama with the executives, anything, and you're just like they will drop you like for their own to protect their own chest before anything else.
Oh,
You
yeah.
are just like you are just money to them. You're a cost when you're at work, and your dollar signs when you're
Clocked in.
Yeah, because yeah, I'm avoiding fast food jobs like the freaking plague. Yeah, I know how bad those environments are, and I've never even had to work one to know what it's like.
Yeah,
Because, you know, the only place I've ever worked for is that movie theater, and it was amazing for 2 years and then horrible for 5 months. And that 5 months of horrible took away all the good that that place ever did for me and more.
Well, I mean, they can't take away the money. That's always, you know, at the end of the day, a job, like, your passions and your work can be separate. So that's, it is at least one consolation. Like, you're gonna have no you're gonna have friends come back to you at the end of the day. Work is, it can, even if it sucks, that's okay sometimes too.
Yeah,
And
because
I
I
always just think of it like, back when games were $60, I would think like, oh, I'm making $15 an hour right now. 4 hours of work, I could buy a new video game. I
Yeah.
got
got bills and shit to pay first, but it was like copium. I just like the money takes away the pain of the work.
yeah, that was always my mindset too. I was like, oh yeah, I could pay for rent in like 3 shifts, and then everything after that I can spend on me.
I need a brick salary. That's
And now I'm just in a really lucky position where my rent and internet are so cheap that literally any money I make I can put towards anything else. It's so amazing.
That is really that's very.
Because again,
freaking-
if
that's
I
awesome, man.
if I had a job right now, I could definitely get the new Switch in like a month. But the problem is there's no job in my local state or area that has remotely decent management. Just it doesn't exist. Anyone who's a manager in this city is the most vile, useless piece of garbage.
I'm sure. Oh yeah. At the same time, I want to say, oh, of course that's not like yeah, it can be true. That's where yeah, sometimes keeping the work and the personal separate. You're like, yeah, it is a shitty job, but it's money sometimes, and that's okay. Like if it's just money at the end of the day, it's still bearable. Even just picking up like a shift or two per week would be nice. Just
Yeah, because
that
it's
Switch fun.
that's pretty much what I want to do is just get a job that I can do over the weekends while I'm not in school.
Fast food is.
But I will never touch fast food again. I worked at Wendy's very briefly, and yeah, never again.
Yeah. I know I have like some horror stories, but my experience at McDonald's was very tame compared to what I know it can be.
Yeah, because
I
I worked at Wendy's
only
for
had the
2 days,
cops show
and
up.
that was enough to end it.
2 days. Oh,
Yep.
shit.
And it was technically only 1 day because my first shift, I was literally just doing the dishes. Day 2, that 1 day was enough to make me quit.
Oh my god. I can't even imagine.
Because that day I was on a mix of drive-through and the nuggets and fries, basically. And when I was working that drive-through, all they ordered was a 4-piece nugget. That was it, just a 4-piece nugget, and I had 3 on the ready. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna fix up a new batch of nuggets. It'll just take a couple minutes, and this kid will be very happy to have his 4th nugget be nice and fresh. Then manager comes in, sees the 3 nuggets, and is like, "Well, why aren't you just giving them the three nuggets?" I'm like, "Because they ordered 4."
Oh.
So I'm like, "Because they ordered 4."
Oh.
Manager is just like, "Just give them the 3 and move on."
That- What kind of customer would get 3 nuggets and not like complain?
Exactly, and it was
What, he's just setting you
yeah.
up to get fucking destroyed by a customer.
Yeah,
What the-
because I was working drive through, I saw these people. It was 2 people who, granted, looked like they barely had enough money to afford these nuggets in the first place, and their kid who looked really excited to have them. So
Oh, and you
so
grabbing
I have
those
a good
people?
moral conscience, and I'm like, no, they're getting their 4 nuggets. I will wait the extra 2 minutes for these nuggets to be made. I could give 2 shits about your 2 minutes in and out. These customers will be very happy that they get their 4th nugget. I can fucking guarantee that.
They're gonna get their 4th fucking nugget, whether
Yeah,
over your
I can
dead fucking
I can
body.
guarantee it. So the manager was still ultimately adamant, telling like literally every other employee on shift to just give them the 3 nuggets. And
That's-
so when I saw somebody else grabbing the 3 nuggets and was getting ready to give them to him, here's what I did. I took them, I threw them away, went to the window, and I'm like, "Sorry, it'll be a couple extra minutes. Please be patient." And I waited for those damn nuggets, gave them their nuggets, and then left.
that is fucking awesome. The last thing you did, you know, it'll be a positive thing. The last thing you did was give a family fresh nuggets.
And then I
Did you
didn't
sneak a
get
fifth one in
paid
there?
for the 2 days that I worked there.
No.
But again, it was worth it. It was so worth it to make them happy.
You should have snuck in a 5th nugget just to add insult to injury to the story.
I thought about doing that, but again, the entire staff was eyeballing me the whole time with this. I wasn't gonna be able to sneak in a 5th nugget and get away with it.
Fair enough.
Knowing this manager, they would have filed some sort of lawsuit against me trying to give them a 5th nugget after wasting 3 of them.
They would have made you pay for the 2 days of labor for coming in. They would have forced you to
Yeah.
fucking pay for it.
Yeah, they would have found some way to pin that shit against me. So I didn't push it too far. I just took, and I could not believe that they, because again, I looked at it as if I was the person in that car.
Yeah.
If I ordered a 4-piece nugget and only got 3, I would be coming right back through and chewing these fucking people out like crazy.
Yeah. It's if you get 20 nuggets and only get 19, then okay. Maybe you don't. Maybe
Yeah.
you don't drive back.
Yeah, it's like if you order a
4-piece?
10-piece and get 9,
4-piece?
usually it's not worth arguing over. But if you order a 4-piece and get 3, I could guarantee you there are going to be riots all around.
Yeah. Dude, I would always, when I worked at McDonald's, I would always be trying to sneak extra nuggets in. I would have coworkers come and they would like order, they would put in their crew meal, and it'd be a 10-piece nugget, and I would put at least like 17 in that box. I would like, I would try to rob McDonald's blind.
Man, I
because
wish
don't
I
do
was at your McDonald's. Every time I order a 10-piece, I get 9 every time without fail. Getting all 10 nuggets is actually a miracle most of the time.
I've had so many friends that like work at this McDonald's from like either when I was working there or just because it's like 2 minutes from my house and they just live in the town. That there are people where you just text them before you're coming and you always get like an extra small fry or extra like thing of cookies in your bag. Like, and I would try to hook my friends up too. Yeah, that's the one thing or not the one thing. That's one of the things I really liked. It was just like, yeah, even some of the managers really didn't care if you were stealing from McDonald's or giving away their food, or they would turn a blind eye to it. Because at the end of the day, you'd be like, oh, there is this much money in food waste from like incompetent workers, like with the 15-year-olds we hired dropping those nuggets that would have gotten dropped on the floor. Like, oh no, we say we dropped 35 and I gave 5 nuggets out over the course of the day. Like I made the world a little bit of a better place, and McDonald's isn't hurt from it. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. Because the movie theater, they always lived by the prospect of of if things are gonna be wasted, they're better in the trash than given to anyone else. And like
True.
I'm like, why would we
Huh?
even remotely throw away food when we could give it to somebody else?
Oh, I guess I thought like for food quality and stuff. Like that's how I pictured it at first. And then I meant like, oh, if it's not good enough to give our customers, like if it's not up to a certain quality, we wouldn't give it to them. I thought that's what you were saying.
Oh no no no!
Uh,
Like this would be like at like end of night. We would have some leftover pizzas and popcorn that was made, right? Like we'd have a whole bunch of popcorn at the end of the night, and instead of distributing the popcorn out to like literally anybody or anything, they just throw it away.
Oh, yeah, no, I hate the managers like that, dude. Then they're like,
And
oh, cause corporate knows if we give food out to people and they get sick, so like it's the risk. But dude, it's a 10-minute old fucking chicken nugget. Let me have the chicken nugget. Don't throw it out, please.
yeah, because like this would be popcorn that we
Update.
just made like 5 minutes before close because we might have
Yeah,
been
yeah.
expecting a rush and then it doesn't get. And then, we have some popcorn left over. Why not just distribute it out to like either the employees or last minute show ups, like anything like that. Uh, that would happen. And we'd always have like one or two pizzas on the hot hold that are still good for like 30 minutes and they'll just end of date, throw it away.
That's pain. Seeing the pizza, no, that's pain, man.
Yeah, I could never bring myself to throw it away out. I always have to ask somebody else to do it because I'm like, if I touch that pizza, it's coming home with me.
That was that was always like a manager to manager thing at McDonald's where they would always make you like count how much of every product before it was supposed to get quote unquote thrown away. But some of them would like make you throw it away. But there are a decent amount of them that are like uh they either would let you just take it home and turn a blind eye, or some of the other managers would even be like, "Hey, can you make me a sandwich?" And they would ask for the sandwiches with the stuff we're supposed to throw away. So
Oh yeah,
at least
no,
at the
no.
McDonald's I worked at, it was a spectrum of like the hard ass managers to the ones that literally are asking for custom sandwiches at 3 a.m.
Oh yeah, my place was nothing like that. Anything that was left over at the end of the night would just get thrown away. We wouldn't use it at all, and we wouldn't be allowed to use it in any way either.
Yeah, that's depending on the amount of like cameras and corporate oversight, it
It
could really
was
just be impossible. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of one of the rougher parts, but at the end of the day, it's like that part doesn't really matter. What matters is that, anyone who shows up is happy and usually they are, but it's just when the cleaning standards started to decline because of how horribly they were treating me and my team, I jumped ship. And by jump ship, I mean I quit and then I didn't get another job and I went back to school.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you at all. It sounds like working in a movie theater sounds like it could be fun. Like,
It
would you ever get this?
was. It was really
Like,
fun.
I have, I remember I was thinking about getting a job like at a theater, and I had one friend that I hadn't seen since high school, and I saw him the other day. I went to the movies like a couple weeks ago. I saw him, and he was just like, he was working the register, and he was maybe the most depressed person I've seen in my entire like he recognized me, and he was like, "Oh, hi." Like it was just some random person, and he's just like, he's not like Eeyore from fucking Winnie the Pooh. And I was like, is movie theater the cashier? Does it really crush your spirit that much? I don't know. Like he seems not even bored. Like the job was physically painful to him. I think he was
Uh,
just having a bad day, but
I could
maybe.
see that from the perspective of working in like the food section and like the handling the cash. But from the perspective of like what I did, which was either being the ticket taker or cleaning the theaters and bathrooms, that part is amazing.
Yeah, how is it like taking tickets? Sometimes it looks like it could be the most boring job imaginable, or it could be really chill. It depends what they let you do, I guess, while you're doing it. Or it's like you just
It's
sit there and like, what did you like about it? I guess I'm curious. You like it's part of the best ever. That
it's
seems like it
just
would be the
like
one.
there's always somebody to interact with, and usually because they're going into their movie rather than being frustrated about dealing with food or drink, they already have all that stuff and they're ready to go to their movie. So most people you run into while handling the tickets are really chill.
You know,
because they're just ready to go see their movie and have a good time. So you know, all you really do is just, you know, acknowledge that they exist, ask how their day is going, stuff like that, and then you just scan the ticket and send them on their way to their movie. And it's just a really chill environment. When it's like really busy, there's always something to do and someone to talk to, and these people are never frustrated because all they're doing is just getting ready to go to their movie.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I never thought about that. Like,
So it's like the
especially
most
like working in the front, and you can be like, "Oh my God, are they gonna get to their movie on time? Are they gonna get the popcorn?" Like they want everyone to probably go as fast as possible. Versus
Yeah.
like, "Oh, the theater's right there. They're just checking my ticket. They're chill."
Yeah, so
I
in
feel
the
like
front,
everyone has respect for the ticket taker person because
yeah,
they know it's like they're forced to sit there.
in the front of house with the food makers, usually on a busy day, is a lot of those people get ignored and their food takes way too long usually because the orders get backed up pretty far. So by the time they get to us, by the time they get to us as the ticket takers and the theater cleaners, they're just happy to finally be rid of that front of house and just be ready to go to their movie.
Yeah, yeah. I never thought about that.
So
That sounds very chill.
So usually the worst we ever hear is complaints about how slow the front of house service is, which is not something we can control.
No,
So, you know,
it's
their
always
anger is never taken out on us usually. It's always taken out on the front.
I yeah. Um, Something I remember working at McDonald's. And I think it was interesting when you described working at Wendy's. You either got hired to work in service or on the grill. Basically, anything on grill was like frying or actually working the grill with burgers, anything like that.
Yeah.
And like during your interview, they basically marked like, are you suitable for one, the other, or both, and if you were personable or not. And like I remember one of the perks of getting my small promotion was getting to pick what I did on certain days. Be like, yeah, I can be up front, I could deal with people, or just go disappear in the back whenever I want. It kind of
Yeah,
sounds like
that's
you
pretty cool.
had similar as well. Like you sometimes you're taking tickets, you had to be social, but the cleaning part, you got
Well,
to just work with your team, and I imagine you didn't have to see customers at all for that portion of the job.
because
That's
I
what I
was
like.
because I was the leader, I always had to kind of be like the cover of like whatever needed to be done in back of house is what I would do. So like if we didn't have a ticket taker for that day or nobody wanted to be the ticket taker for that day, usually I would have to do it. So I ended up being the ticket
Oh,
taker a
gotcha.
lot as the person who's supposed to be leading the team, which is kind of
Oh,
weird, but
okay.
the managers didn't question it. So at the end of the day, I didn't really care. I wanted my team to be happy, so I would
Yeah.
just do whatever job they didn't want.
Yeah, I like that balance though. Like I like having the ability to go back and forth between like dealing with customers, especially that positive interaction side you're talking about, and
Yeah.
then being able to kind of slink into the back and just deal with the employees and like the coworkers that you actually like, you know. I loved the days where I just be able to hop on a grill, not talk to a single customer, and just make sandwiches with my buddy all day.
Is
That's
the worst you would have to deal with as the ticket taker is if something goes wrong in the theater, then you're the very first person they come to with complaints about it. But most of the time it's usually just like, oh, the lights were accidentally left on or the movie isn't playing. So it'd just be a simple, you know, go upstairs and fix it. It would usually be pretty easy and you know, the complaints were always minor.
hmm, that's yeah, that does sound like a chill job. Uh,
But yeah.
I would like
Also, as the ticket taker, I would only ever have like one main rule about being allowed to sit down is I don't care if you sit down as long as A, the lobby is clean. Like if I see you sitting down and there's popcorn in the lobby or the drink machines aren't clean, I'm gonna have a huge fucking issue with that, right?
yeah.
But like if it's clean and there's nobody around, then why the hell would I make you stand, right? Just sit down. So
That's yeah, I'm
so my rule would
very
be if
similar.
the lobby is clean and there are no guests that can see you, you can sit.
I remember there's
Because
the
corporate
biggest saying was always like, yeah, if you can lean, you can clean. If there's time to lean, there's time to clean. So if yeah, if you were ever sitting or you were caught even just like lounging around, you'd get told, you'd be handed a rag and told, go find something to clean. Like something in the store will be dirty. I always loathed that. Like, yeah, there's no one in the store. Why do we have to? Like you were saying,
Yeah,
you're not in the view of the customers. Like, what is the point of just busy work for the sake of busy work?
because yeah, I was always in that kind of mindset. Is if no guest can see you and the lobby is clean, I'm not gonna make you stand. Or if there's like nothing else to do, right? Like if the trash is all taken out and everything's clean and nobody can see you, then I don't care if you sit for a couple minutes, right? But people would take advantage of, my kindness in that aspect, and then I would come back from cleaning a theater because most of the time I would be alone on cleaning with whoever the ticket taker is because, most of the days we weren't super busy. So it would just be me cleaning and then somebody else doing the ticket take unless they didn't want to, and then the roles would be reversed. But most of the time if I was alone, then I would clean because I don't trust other people to clean effectively if they're alone.
Yeah, no, I get that 100%. Especially when you're like, I I I worked closing shift, and you like the opening people always got to judge the however good a job the closing people did. If I had to delegate work out to go clean something, I would always have to go clean it myself again before 2 a.m. because they would
Yeah.
never do a good enough job, and I never trust them. It's
Yeah,
because that reflects on me.
because
The
as a
other
lead,
people just
I
leave.
would have loved to trust my team and let them clean alone. But every time I would do that, granted only once or twice, I would go back, double check it, and there would always be multiple things wrong without fail.
Yeah.
So eventually I got tired of it. If I was ever working with one other person, even if they hated taking tickets the most, I'd be like, I don't care. You're taking tickets, I'm cleaning. And that was like the one perk of being in the lead is that, you could just assign anyone to wherever and, couldn't fight back. Granted, I always
I got the
tried to have people where they were most comfortable, but eventually you have to put your team in those uncomfortable situations so that they can learn.
I remember it so many times. Like I agree. I try to get people where they are most comfortable. Um, and I wouldn't like. I was not a manager or even like a lead. I was just like the trainer. So I was not ever in charge of setting up a shift or organizing it. But
Yeah.
there'd be so many times where we'd be on a shift, and because people were either trained for service or for grill, and I knew both because I was trained to train people on everything and close the store and every single job. um, there'd be so many times where I would just go to a manager and be like, "Hey, I think these people are struggling. Like, let me move this person here, and I'll take their spot." And I just part of it was like genuinely helping out the store and like helping whatever needed help, but it was having the freedom to just be able to do what you wanted on certain days and either interact with customers, not interact with customers. It was a great feeling. And I didn't have even without the power to truly delegate work in a management position, having the agency over what I get to do in the store, just holding
Yeah.
on to it a little bit felt nice. And
Yeah,
being
because I
able
haven't.
to at least play it off as a strength. It's like, oh, I'm so good. You want me here. Let me take over for this person. I'll be better at it. And they would
Yeah, that's fair.
usually let me.
Because yeah, I would never ask my managers to assign someone somewhere. I knew what my team was good at and what my team was bad at, and if anything became an issue, I would adjust accordingly. I would never ask for my manager's input because they wouldn't know this team as much as I know this team.
I that's where I agree. I feel like I wish I would be able to just like move people around the way I wanted, but
Yeah, and now,
especially at McDonald's,
yeah,
everything is so organized. There's like the manager on the floor who actually decides the people's position is not the same manager that creates the schedule and knows who is good at what position. So when we have, they might schedule like, oh, there are three people that know how to work service and only one person for grill, and now we have to randomly train a person because we're scheduled wrong. And the managers would never know that. Like the scheduling manager wouldn't. And that breakdown is. Oh, now we're getting back to management levels and that whole problem.
Cause yeah, that was
But that was very.
the one thing that management like actually complimented me on during my whole time there that I leaded. The only thing they ever gave me praise for was knowing how to assign my team. And then one time one of them came up to me and is like, why do you never ask us where to put your team? And I was just straight up blunt and honest. It was like, because I don't need to. I know what my team is good at and I know what they're bad at. If I leave that assignment up to you, we're going to have a dysfunctional team for the day and I'll have to fix it anyway. So
Exactly.
I will assign them where I want, and if that ever becomes a problem, come talk to me. And I never, and can you guess, they never came back to talk to me about it outside of just saying awesome job. Never got a single complaint about that. And that is one thing that whenever the managers did like my team's evaluations, because one of the questions was always like, do you have something good to say about your management or leaders? And the managers would always tell me that every single one of the people that they ever interview loves the way that I would schedule people. Like, loves the way that I assign them into what they're most comfortable with and helping them in situations that they're least comfortable with. And, that's good to hear as a leader.
Yeah.
Is that the management would at least give me some praise for it, but I never got any sort of benefit from doing that. I just did it because it was, it was the right thing to do and it helped workflow so that the job was at least more bearable.
Man, I'm just thinking, it's getting nostalgic almost for. I know we started off shit talking these jobs. I'm getting nostalgic for it and thinking like, yeah, these.
Oh, trust me, I don't remotely miss this job like at all. Don't get me wrong, there were some good aspects of it, but I would never go back if given the choice.
Yeah, same. Like I wouldn't go back, but I am getting a little nostalgic for
I
that,
liked
for the good sides of it.
I liked the people that I worked with. I hated management, and I would never go back.
Pretty much same.
Like
I think you summed up
I'm
that.
desperate for the Switch 2, but I am not desperate enough to go back to that job.
If it could be like chill money though, if not that job, yeah, like something
Yeah,
more
just
chill.
something to do over the weekends to make a little bit of money would be amazing for me. But I can't find anything that's hiring because anybody that wants to hire for weekdays, and I can't do that with school.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you ever need a place to work, I assume when you say you're in school, you're in college, right? You're not high school age.
I have to finish my last year of high school. I missed 2 years of high school because I was homeless during that time, so I couldn't attend
Oh, okay.
classes. And then when I was finally ready to go back to school after I got a stable place, COVID hit. So no classes, no classes again.
Yeah.
So I
Oh,
couldn't
that is rough.
I couldn't go back to school until like 2022, which I was going to then finish out, and then 2 months later I got my job. So I had to leave
Just one
school
thing after
again.
another, yeah.
And then eventually I got, as I said, I got tired of the job and I went back to school. So now I'm finishing out my last year of high school credits, and then I already have a college lined up to attend.
Oh, awesome. Nice.
Because
Awesome.
because I already have a scholarship lined up, which is super nice.
Very nice. Yeah, I was gonna say if I know you said weekdays are a problem, and if you're finishing up high school, it sounds like you are probably old. You are very much old enough to student teach, but or not student teach, but substitute teach. Substitute teaching does not pay well, but it's easy money, and every school district in America needs more substitute teachers. I
Yeah.
promise you. So it's easy work if it's not easy. Dealing with kids is
Yeah. Yeah, you treat
but-
dealing with children like it's easy.
Yeah, but I mean, like in terms of
just like you show up, you have to like for 40 minutes get kids to not destroy a classroom, and a baseline pay depending on the district you can make. I mean, I know in New York, I don't know what state you live in. I live in New York, which pays pretty well. It's you can earn like $100 a day for substitute teaching.
And yeah, I live in a state where minimum wage is less than $8. So
Yeah, I was gonna say it could probably closer to 50 to like 70, but or even like yeah, it could be a lot less in other states. I know New York does pay well, but um, it's still substitute teaching. It's during the weekdays, but you can definitely find a job. I promise. Every district in America needs more.
yeah, because basically, the leadership job that I had at the movie theater paid $14 an hour, and that's like one of the highest end jobs you can get in my state in terms of pay.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Pay wise, it is. Yeah, it was really good for what it was.
That's solid.
Because everywhere else basically pays 9 or 10 an hour. So jumping straight from that, when I was initially working, because I worked, very few hours, to getting a leadership job and then suddenly jumping up to 14 an hour, it was huge.
Yeah, and
I would
the managers were another like 5 above that. Like that's crazy.
I would suddenly be making like $600 to $800 a paycheck. It was nuts.
That's see like to give a different context is wow, at the McDonald's I was working at, the base like employees, they would get paid $15 an hour, which that's already like so the baseline is just that high.
Oh yeah,
That's the
that is
yeah.
fucking crazy.
But the promotion, when I got promoted to be a trainer, was 1550, and managers were 1650. So the management level just scales like you so much worse. The managers at your movie theater are making like more than almost the GMs at the McDonald's I was at were.
Yeah,
But the baseline
crazy.
workers were getting paid more.
Yeah,
So
baseline I was
that's
making
just
way more, because our our baseline is like 10.
and
It was
then you
9
start
when I
getting into the thinking
started.
of, like, yeah. Then there's like cost of living debates and like, oh, what state is it like cost of living? That doesn't affect the fucking Switch though, and $90 games.
Oh yeah,
It's dog
definitely
shit,
not.
bro. Yeah, some things are gonna be fixed, and everyone eats the cost.
Yeah, because also for context on like how much different the pay is there in New York at the time you worked compared to here in my state. If I were to go apply for a base level job at McDonald's right now, the pay would be $8.75 an hour.
Yeah,
That is
Yeah, I think
so not worth it.
no.
Again, I can't
Like I
believe
said, like-
anybody in my state works at McDonald's with that kind of low ass pay.
That's just out of pure necessity at that point.
Yeah, I swear that's the reason why all these McDonald's in my state or city have like 14 to 16-year-olds who quit 2 months in. So every single time I go there, I never see the same worker. Their turnover rate is so high.
Yeah.
So
This has been a great convo about the work and stuff. But
Oh, yeah.
It's 2:30, man. I think I'm gonna have to call it.
yeah, I kind of
Uh,
stopped playing the game at this point.
We've just been locked in talking, looking back at the. Oh my
Yeah,
god. we've
I
been
think
talking about this for a
I think I'm
long
good to end stream as well. This was really fun though.
Yeah, I agree. I got a PB by like 0.01 on Moo Meadows, and I've been chilling since then.
Yeah, that's
So,
fire.
I've PB'd forever. All right, but GG's, man. That was a good combo.
Hey,
but
we appreciate you
gonna
being
end
here
it
the whole
there.
time, Yamchas. So, a salute to you. All right, so we're gonna call the stream here. We'll see you all tomorrow. Again, thank you, Chroma, for the lovely conversation. It is 12:30, and I didn't realize it was so late at night. So I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah, I'm also gonna go to bed. Have a good night, man.
Yep.
Peace.